response confessional to the pronoun workshop thingy we did. Okay, first, I'd like to say about this whole thing was that it seemed very elementary, but to be honest, I really enjoyed it. I was that kind of student in elementary school, in high school, where when we were learning about pronouns and predicates, subjects, objects, all that stuff, I really liked it, and I liked to be able to understand what they were saying. I know a lot of people in school, in junior high school, were going, "What is this? I don't want to learn this. Okay, I'm gonna do this little workshop, but I'm gonna forget what it meant." And I like to really observe what those things mean. Like one of my favorite reference books is The Elements of Style, who I cannot remember who's by right now. I think Strunk and White are their last names, the people who wrote that book, but my girlfriend borrowed it, and I haven't seen it since. But um, I'm one of those people. I'm an English buff. Like I'd like to absorb knowledge about the English language and words and meanings, and I like to break down words and like know what different suffixes mean, so like I can infer what a word means. If I don't actually know what that word means, I have a good idea because I can break it down. I'm going off on a tangent. But yeah, I really liked that part of class, especially because that was the first time we ever did something like that. And it also helped me realize that as good as a writer that I think that I am, as good of a writer as I think that I am. Um, I mean, like, okay, I think I'm a good writer. I don't think I'm a perfect writer, but I generally read my own things and say, okay, yeah, that looks good. I never realized that this was a mistake that I make a lot. I start a lot of sentences with it. And I mean, I take the lesson that we learned in stride because I think that sometimes you can get away with it. Sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes you're using it in repetition. Like if I were saying, "This is the American flag. It's a symbol of this. It's a symbol of that. It's a symbol of the other thing." I mean, it would grammatically behoove you to replace some of those "it's" with like other words for the flag. But if you're really going for an effect where you want to ramble down a list or make it choppy, you want to leave that there. That's where style comes from. There are general guidelines in the English language, and you can choose to slide past some of them sometimes. That's what style is all about. But you have to still know what they are and know when you can use them to make your writing more professional. But yeah, that was it. It brought to light something that I didn't even realize that I did, and reminded me that there's always some way to better my writing. And oh, and going through my paper and circling all the pronouns that I use, I was like, yeah, I need to work on that. So yeah, um, it was it was useful because I think it's a mistake people make more than they realize. I just realized that I just started that sentence with it. Gotcha. Um, let's see. That's about it. I just wanted to reflect on that beautiful lesson that I learned in class today. Oh, and this does not exactly have to do with this, so this is not really technically part of the response confessional, but I just feel like I want to record these thoughts. Now, I am having serious trouble finishing this freaking project. Like, alright, there's my own general laziness, but it's not even that much about my laziness. Like it just seriously, I email people, they don't email me back. Okay, I pissed Chris Freeman off. I pissed Chris Freeman off. I admit that, and that was my fault. But and I'm not putting any blame on the Audrey Lorde project, but like emailing them, it gets lost somewhere, and like I haven't fully gelled with them yet, and just the story goes like this: I emailed someone at the Audrey Lorde project, and they never got back to me. So I called a little while later. I spoke to someone named Colette Carter. She was like, she would set up a date and everything. She was like, you can come in on this day at this time, and you can email. You can interview me. It'll be great. Blah blah blah. Then she took me on my email. Then she emailed me and said, you know what? The original person that you emailed should be back soon. So just go ahead and send another email to her. So forget the date that we set up, and try to get in contact with her and fill out this form and blah blah blah. Filled out the form, sent the email, and then eons later, she emailed me back finally, and I, finally got some contact from this person, and she was like, "Well, you have to first fill out this form," and I was like, "I filled out the form in my mind," and then I realized that I hadn't attached the form, so then I sent her back an email with the attached form. It could take more days for her to get back to me, and that's where we are right now. Um, and I still need another source because I pissed Chris Freeman off, who's supposed to be my main source, and then I did some thinking, where I realized that a lot of people, whether they be in the class and have read my paper and saw like where I talk about my different hobbies, or if they know me, they know that I'm also into photography, graphic design, poetry, and so a lot of people say, how come you don't like, work that in there, make that your niche with activism? And I'm like, well, how do you expect me to do that full time? Like, well, I don't understand. But I actually am changing my major to photojournalism. I think they can get me in there, and that helped me find a new source. I thought about all those suggestions, and then I realized that, hey, I kind of write for this magazine, and I haven't actually written for it. I kind of write their blog a little bit, and like, I just got assigned an interview, so it turns out I'm gonna be in the magazine. But anyway, I kind of write for this magazine where there's this dope owner. Her name is Lala Akbar. She's Asian. She's queer. She is an artist, and she showed up at the Oscar Grant rally and painted some stuff. Like, she always works her art into the political. And excuse me, I need a time check. Okay, she always works her art into the political. And I realized that's exactly what people keep suggesting that I do. So I'm like, well, I still need another source. She's cool. I have her contact info. We're cool like that. So I hit her up, and now I have sent her questions for this interview. So I'm just waiting on a response from that, and I'm putting it in the paper as soon as I get it. So if this Algebra project thing comes through, and when Lala Akbar emails me back, I should be good. But I'm not liking the delayedness. I'm just saying that I'm still pushing. I'm still pushing. Okay, that's it.